Welcome to today's Explainer. I'm so thrilled to have you here as we embark on a truly microscopic safari. Now, I want you to picture a massive brick house in your mind. No matter how incredibly large or complex that building gets, it's ultimately just made up of individual, tiny bricks stacked one on top of the other. Well, today, we're going to shrink ourselves down and zoom all the way in to look at the tiny bricks that make up the living world. Get ready because we're going straight to the microscopic level. Here is the roadmap for our cellular safari today. We'll start with the basic blocks of life, look at what all cells share, uncover the amazing story of how plants make their own food, check out cell shapes and their microscopic armor, and finally wrap it all up with a quick review to lock in what we've learned. Let's get right to it. Section 1, the blocks of life. Just like that brick building we pictured earlier, the living world operates on the exact same principle of tiny foundational pieces building something massive. To get us started, I want you to think about this question. What do you, a towering oak tree, and a giant rumbling elephant all actually have in common? I mean, it might seem like completely different worlds, right? But at the very base level, the answer is exactly the same. The answer is that you are all made of cells. A cell is the absolute smallest fundamental unit of life. They're the tiny, living bricks that make up all living organisms, including you and me. Today, we're peering through our virtual microscope to look at the two main flavors of life on Earth, plant cells and animal cells. Section 2. What all cells share. Before we start dividing plants and animals into their own separate categories, we need to understand the foundational pieces that unite them. Notice those brightly glowing parts inside both of these cells? Well, both plant and animal cells share these tiny internal parts called organelles. If you break that word down, it literally just means many organs. Just like your body has organs to keep you alive, the cell has many organs to keep it alive. Our first major shared organelle is the nucleus. And you can think of the nucleus exactly like the school principal, running the entire cellular building. It's the absolute control center, the brain of the operation. It holds all the genetic recipes and DNA instructions that tell the cell exactly what to do and how to behave. Without the principal, the whole school would just fall into total chaos. Surrounding our principal's office, we have two other super vital features. First is the cytoplasm. Imagine the cytoplasm as the busy, jelly-like hallways of the school where all the essential chemical reactions take place and everything moves around. And finally, wrapping completely around both of these cell types, we have the cell membrane. If the nucleus is the principal, the cell membrane is our strict security guard. It stands at the very edge of the cell, deciding exactly what gets to come in and what has to stay out. Moving on to Section 3, how plants make food. This is where our two cell types really begin to part ways, and it's all based on how they survive and get their energy. Think about how you get energy. If you're hungry, you can just get up and walk over to the fridge, right? Animal cells are kind of the same. They have to hunt, consume, or absorb nutrients from outside sources. But plants cannot simply walk to a fridge or hunt for a snack. They're rooted in place. Because they can't move, they have to be totally self-sufficient. They actually make their own meals right inside their cells. And the plant cell's secret weapon for making its own food is the chloroplast. Chloroplasts are special organelles exclusive to plants. They're packed tight with a green pigment called chlorophyll, which is what gives leaves their color. But functionally, these organelles act exactly like tiny, microscopic solar panels installed right into the plant cell. Here is the incredible story of how they work. Step 1, these tiny solar panels, the chloroplasts, look up and actively capture energy beaming down from sunlight. Step 2, they take that trapped sunbeam and through a magical chemical process called photosynthesis, they literally turn that sunlight into sugar. They create their own food out of thin air and sunshine. Animal cells simply do not have this superpower. Section 4, cell shape and armor. A plant's entirely different lifestyle completely changes its physical shape compared to an animal cell. The contrast is honestly pretty stark. The vibrant blue animal cell is floppy, irregular, and somewhat rounded. That's because it only has that flexible security guard, the cell membrane, holding it together. But look at the earthy green plant cell. It's highly geometric, shaped just like a sturdy, rigid box. So here's the crucial point. Plants don't have bones. You have a skeleton to keep you standing up, but a tree doesn't. Instead, plants rely on an extra outer layer called the cell wall.
This cell wall is like a rigid suit of armor placed right outside the cell membrane. It keeps the plant cell shaped like a sturdy box, allowing massive trees to stand hundreds of feet tall without a single bone in their body. Inside that armored box, there's one more massive difference: the central vacuole. Notice that huge, empty-looking space in the plant cell? That is essentially a giant water balloon taking up most of the inside. It stores essential moisture. When that balloon is full, the plant is crisp and stands tall. But when the plant gets thirsty and that balloon empties out, well, that is exactly why your houseplants start drooping and wilting. Animal cells only have tiny, temporary storage vacuoles scattered around, nothing at all like this giant central balloon. And finally, Section 5, Quick Cell Difference Review. Incredible job making it this far, pupils. I want you to treat this as your official study guide. Let's quickly recap. For shared parts, remember both have our principle, the nucleus, and our jelly-like hallways, the cytoplasm. But for the differences, outer boundaries. Plants have both a membrane and a rigid cell wall, while animals only have a flexible membrane. For shape, plants are fixed and box-like. Animals are irregular and rounded. For energy, plants use their solar panel chloroplasts to make food, while animals must absorb theirs. And finally, plants feature that one giant central water balloon, the vacuole, while animals only have several small ones. To wrap up our explainer today, let's do a quick mental check. If you're looking through a microscope in a lab and you suddenly see a distinctively green, boxy-shaped cell surrounded by a thick, rigid outer armor, what are you looking at? That's right, you are absolutely looking at a plant cell. But before you go, I want you to think about this. If plant cells have perfected the art of turning raw sunlight into free energy using microscopic solar panels, how might unlocking these cellular secrets help us build better renewable energy for our own cities in the future? Keep exploring the building blocks of nature, and I'll see you next time.